So we are doing our first review. I think we'll be doing reviews on quite a few things just because we're not just fishermen here at the Gumph. We definitely have a broad horizon, so we like to try a lot of different things and get better each and every day with a lot of things in our life. So what I will be reviewing today is fishing. So I know the first video has been a fishing video, so we're going to continue to get better with the videos, and actually got the camera turned sideways this time. Anyways, so what we will be reviewing today is actually a reel, and it is a Shimano reel. And so I have quite a few reels. I don't really have anything specifically that I stick to all the time. I do like to try new things and different things like that. So at the end of the day, you know, I'm not a brand person. I don't stick to one thing. I always thinking that's, you know, to a degree is kind of shallow just to stay with one thing. Obviously, if something sticks out and I like it, I'm going to use it. So regardless of what brand it is. But anyways, today we're going to try the Shimano DC series. They've actually had these DC reels for quite some time. They're very, very expensive, $500–600 when they very first started out, and throughout the years they've gotten down under $300. But they have a new model that's actually the SLX model, and I seen it on sale the other day online, and I want to say it was sportsman.com or sportsmans.com. They had it on sale for $159. I did get my local Dick's Sporting Goods to match the price there, so I picked one up the other day. It was a great deal at $159. I said, shoot, I'm gonna give it a try. So today we're gonna go over a quick review with that and just kind of give you some first impressions, and might do some more in-depth with different lures as far as weights and things of that nature. But as you can see, it's a little bit overcast out today. The wind was blowing pretty good earlier, and it's kind of died out some, but we're going to do a review and give you first impressions on this reel. I've been excited. DC is actually a digital a reel. It's like a digital casting, I think is what it stands for. And I've heard a lot of good things about them over the years, but again, they were just pricey. So they're more in line now, so I'm going to try this thing out. As you can see here, there is the box, the official Gumph sunglasses there, actually glasses there. So I have this paired up on a, if you can see that there, a St. Croix, one of my favorite rods there. It's a St. Croix Avid series. I do have a rattle trap there. This is actually the mini, not the full size rattle trap, so it doesn't have a huge lure on there, so I figured we'd go in the mini there. So first impressions of this, they do have some higher line series of the DC, and clean that off there for you. They do have some higher line versions of this DC, and honestly, all the research and stuff that I've done, I would probably save my money, just because in reality it's a little less expensive for this. The look still gives you a great look. It's matte black. It's not going to have a bunch of fingerprints like some of the chrome versions. Got a nice little accent with the blue, the spoil. I do have 20-pound braid on here that I'll be using today. And again, as you can see, nice and comfortable in the hand and the handles. This is a 7.2 version, okay? And so it's not the super high. I think the super high speed is actually an 8 something, but this is the 7.2. So it's not quite, but again, this is still considered a high speed reel. I have not messed with the settings on this thing. I did tighten this a little bit just so you get the barely, so the lure would barely go down. And so I have not read the instructions, and we're not going to read the instructions. We're going to take it straight out and cast, and let you know what the impressions are on that, just because most people probably aren't going to read the instructions. And so I'm not going to do that. If we can't get this thing to work, then you know what, we'll read the instructions. But hopefully I've adjusted this. Again, there's a setting on the side here. Mine is currently at 2. Don't really know exactly what that means, but we will do some adjustments here as needed with this. But can't wait to get this thing out there, and we're going to start slinging. So as promised, we are going to see how this baby casts. So I'm pretty excited about this. Our first cast, we're going to leave this thing just like it was. Again, it come out of the box on the side saying 2 is where the setting is. So I'm going to leave that there at 2. And we're going to see just how this thing casts. I'm not going to make any hard casts the first couple casts. I'm just going to kind of toss it out there. And I'd say I'm going to try to make it where it's about half through the pond from what I would normally cast my other reels. And we'll see what happens. Holy moly, this thing absolutely jumps off the reel. Wow. I would say this probably went about 35% further than what I was anticipating from the amount of pressure that I put on there when I threw this. Wow, that's crazy. I don't know if you could hear that either, but this thing makes like a noise. I guess maybe that's the digital side of this, but holy. Man, this thing is unbelievable the way it casts. Again, I'm making very little effort in these casts. So wow, yeah. I mean, I have Shimano, I have Daiwa, I have Luz, I have Fluger. I mean, I have a lot of rods and reels that I have tried over the years, and I can tell you this, there is nothing that can probably outcast this in distance, and especially nothing can outcast this with the amount of effort that you have to put in with this to cast it. Man, I'm not a real big person that finds something and just absolutely raves about it no matter what, and I kind of hate that this is my first review, and I'm probably going to be so impressed on this video just because I am, honestly. I have fished for a long time, ever since I was probably 7-8 years old, and I fished for a lot of bass and even saltwater fishing, and I can tell you this thing casts unbelievable. I mean, I have some Shimano Calais that are $500 that I don't know if I'll use them again after this. Really, I like to catch a fish too to check out the drag and all, but again, just a great casting reel. I mean, guys, when you throw this thing, it's like it comes off the spool, like somebody is literally throwing it for you. Now I'm doing a little less. I mean, you don't even have to put any effort in this, which is crazy to me because I've not really heard a lot of the pros talk about them, and I know a lot of those guys are sponsored, so they get free merchandise and money, so maybe that's why these aren't as popular with them. But I can see myself in tournaments using this tremendously just because fatigue comes into play. And at the end of the day, fishing is like anything else. It's a numbers game, so the more times you can put yourself in front of a fish by casting, the better. So you can cover a lot of ground with this, and I bet with the amount of effort that you have to put into this, it's amazing on how this casts. I'm gonna do some sidearm casting, just a couple flips out there. Yeah, I mean, it's kind of hard to explain, but you know, a lot of people use spinning rods. They do cast well, I would say, and you can really throw a lure a good distance with a spinning rod and some decent weight. But I will tell you this, I will compete with anybody with a spinning rod, with any kind of setup. I'm using a 7-foot St. Croix reel. Rods with this reel, so it's not an extremely long rod. So I couldn't imagine what you could do with this thing with like a 7.5 or 7.6 rod. I mean, I'm sure it would cast a country mile. Now, obviously, practical reasons, you know, you not always need to cast this far, and probably shouldn't. But the good thing with it, though, is honestly just the amount of effort that you have to put in to cast is going to help on these days, especially when it's hot and you're fishing and you're wanting to cover a lot of ground. So I would definitely recommend this for $159. I seen it online yesterday or a couple days ago actually, and I want to say it was Sportsman or sportsmans.com had this on sale for $159, but I got my local Dick's Sporting Goods to match the price, and for $159 I will definitely eventually swap out my reels, unless the drag system on this for some reason is just not good, which I don't see that happening with Shimano. They're very, very high quality in just about all their reels, especially in these line, and so I don't see that happening. But unless there's something that comes up, which I'll definitely keep you posted, we'll do some more we'll do some more reviews. I will change out lures, but guys, wind's blowing pretty good out, zero backlash. I mean, you really don't even have to thumb this thing, so amazing. The braking system as well. I am gonna change this setting from a 2 to a 1. I don't know if this works like a typical system, then this probably is gonna make it cast a little further, and maybe we'll encounter a backlash, we'll see. So I just changed it, and holy moly, wow. Yeah, it definitely makes it throw further, and it didn't backlash, but when I watched it, the spool, when I was throwing it, it surely looked like it was going to, but man, again, it probably put another 10% distance on that cast for the same amount of effort that I've been giving. So that is just nuts. Probably not gonna go up anymore. I am gonna go the other direction and do a 3 versus the 2 and the 1 and see what that does. Seems like it shortened the distance some, yeah. Not a tremendous amount. Again, the effort that you're getting with this, when the cast that you're making is just unbelievable. So I can definitely see, we're gonna swap it to 4 here. Okay, it's definitely shortening up the distance. This would probably be a lot better for higher weighted baits, more heavy baits than what I'm using now. Or of course, if you just want to get consistency with your distance on the amount of effort, it's probably a little easier to control. Because that setting, I'll be honest with you, the setting of 2 and 1, when you cast this thing, it is like you're slinging it, and you're not. It's crazy. This thing literally casts a country mile regardless of what it is. So the setting actually just goes to 4, and so when you put the 4, it drops the distance down a good amount, but I just cast the 4, and I did not use my thumb. I just threw it like I would a spinning rod, and it had 0 backlash in the, wow, yeah, 0 backlash just by letting it go. I literally just cast and let it go when I was on the 4, so I don't know if that applies some braking to it as well, but amazing, amazing. I'll go back down to my 2 setting, and I probably like the 2 setting the best with this lure. It just seems to jump off your reel with very, very minimum effort at all. And again, 0 backlash with the wind. I made a couple casts dead into the wind, and again, no backlash. Wow. Yeah, you could probably set a record somehow with this thing, I'm sure. This is pretty amazing. So needless to say, I'm very impressed with this reel. I would definitely recommend it at any price point. Again, have some reels that are $500 or $600 just for the reels. Have a bunch that are in the sub price of $200. But again, regardless of what the price is, casting effortless. It's very comfortable in your hand. Even the handle's got a nice rubbery texture on there. And so for $150, hell, even for, like I said, any price, I would go to this all day long. So I'll be updating you on this throughout the tenure of as I'm using it. Again, I'll do this with all the stuff that I use day to day. And if anybody has something out there that they think compares to this, I would love for them to bring this to the table. Send me what you got. Any other reels out there that might compete, I'd love to do a comparison. I'll send it back to you if you need. But this would be a tough bargain, I would imagine, at $159. You probably just will never get a better deal than that on a rod. And I mean, a reel like this. It's really, really nice. So I just wanted to give you a recap of the review that we done today. Again, it is the Shimano DC. It is the SLX line. I picked it up for $159, which was a great deal. It was online. I seen it online, I think at sportsmans.com, and I got my local Dick's Sporting Goods to match the price at $159. So great deal. But again, I would compare this with any price point at all. This thing literally cast a country mile. But that's it is probably one of the more impressive things here. But what really impressed me the most is the effort, the amount of effort that you have to put in with each cast. It's very minimal. So you don't really have to put the backbone in each and every cast to get it where you need it to be, especially in the wind, if you're trying to get into the wind. But again, the drag on this is something that I haven't tried. But again, Shimano, probably going to be a really good drag system. But the way this thing casts is every bit of worth that. It casts amazing. And so I can see myself on the tournaments and on the rivers in the summertime, trying to cover a lot of ground. It's definitely going to save me some fatigue there. So I definitely recommend it to you, especially at the price point. But again, I will challenge anybody out there. If there is something better, please send it to me. Let me know about it. I'll try to go pick it up myself. But again, definitely thumbs up from the Gumpf. It is absolutely recommended. And go out and get yourself one if you're in the market for a reel. This was the real deal. You guys have a blessed day.